Hey guys, welcome back to the live streams. So in this session, I'll be creating the clone of Facebook as you can see on the screen. So this is the clone that I created and it's running live on Firebase hosting. Okay. So now here, if you don't have an account, you can sign up using this quick sign up form where you can enter your first name, last name, email, and image for your profile and your desired password. And as soon as you hit the sign up button, a new account will be created for you and it will be taken to the home page. But since I already have an account for testing, so I will use that. And this authentication is also being handled by the what do you call Firebase. Okay, so I need to mask this, so give me a quick second to do that. I think I forgot that. So I need to go to my login component. Just a minute. So for the password, the type is password. Okay. So let me save that and I can go to my localhost here. So I have not pushed the changes yet, so I will use the localhost to show you the demo. So test@test.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so I sign in with my account. So this is the home page. It resembles your Facebook home page these days. As you can see, we have a top header here with a search bar on the left, some icons or quick tabs in the middle, and your notification icons and your drop down menu on the right hand side here. Okay, you could you will see the posts here and you can post something new. Welcome to the live streaming session, and as soon as you hit enter, the post will be added here in the section, in the list section here, and the latest post will always be on the top, as you can see. So you'll be creating everything right from the beginning, and you can also log out from here using this logout drop down menu. And guys, those who have just joined, please do not forget to smash the like button if you feel this is good stuff. Okay, so let me log out from here, and as always, I've created a blank Angular project using the Angular CLI. As you can see, I'm using PHP Storm as my code editor. You can use anything you want, and let's start. Okay, so first thing first, I'll go to the terminal here and install my dependencies. So I have a list of dependencies here that I will be using in my entire tutorial. First is Angular Fire package to query the Angular Fire database. So I'm going to copy the first command here, go to the command prompt, paste, hit enter, give it a few seconds to fetch the details and install it. Meanwhile, what we can do, we can go to Firebase console here and create a new project for us. So let's name it FB clone and continue. I don't need analytics, create project. Okay, so this will give you a brand new Firebase project, and let's see here. Okay, it's done. The next one is my Firebase. Let's copy it, install it, and you don't need to use the save flag here because I believe from node version 7 or 8, the npm version 4 above, it is automatically there. So whenever you install a package, it automatically saves it in your package.json file. Okay. Great. Next, so my Firebase project is created. I'll enter there and create a new Cloud Firestore database while the package is installing here. Create database in test mode. Next, choose the default location, click next. Okay, it's provisioning the database. Let's install the third and final dependency, if I could remember properly. Okay, so both are working, and let's create the folder structure here. So inside the apps, I'll have a directory name with the name of components. Then I'll have another one with the name of let's say guards, and a shared folder. Okay, I think I typed something incorrectly. Ng add, what did I do? Let's do it again. What next? I was creating folders, right? Okay, so indigo pink, yes, yes, yes. This should be ng, my bad. And this should also be ng if you're using your Angular CLI to add the dependencies. Okay, like that. Okay, so once that is installed, I'll create a new module here using the Angular schematics. So that will be for my routing. Okay, app routing module. There we go. So I will put it here. Okay, so give it some time to complete the installation. So here, as you can see, our database has been created, and in the authentication section, I'll go and enable the email and password method. Okay, so enable. I don't want passwordless sign in. I'll keep this unchecked or disabled state. Then save the changes. All right, go back to your application. Okay, so I'll use my FB clone here. Perfect. So once that is done, I can go and put it here and remove the app routing folder. I don't need it. So inside the shared, I will also create another module that will be my material module. And I'll use the flat key here, flat switch here, so that it will not create any additional folders inside it. All right, cool. That's done. Let's create the required components that we will be using throughout the codes. So we will only need 3 of them. One will be my home component, that is this page here, the page that I get to see after I sign in. This is the home component, and this is my login component, and this will be my registration component. Okay, only 3 of them. So let's quickly do that using Angular CLI. I'll use the command, hang on, it is nggc to generate a component inside the components folder with the name of home. All right, come on. Next one will be my login component, and the last one is my register component. Okay, So today, in order to save some time, I will do a bit of copy paste in terms of HTML markup and CSS styling. Okay, but I will keep on explaining what I'm doing so that you guys can follow along with me. So I'm going to start the server here, ng-serve, on a different port number. Let's say 4300. This is my development server. I can minimize it if I want to. All right, let's quickly create the routes. While this is happening, let's create the routes. So the first one, I'll create a variable here to store my routes, and this will be of type routes. You need to import it from Angular router and assign it to an array. So for the default route, okay, I'll use something known as lazy loading. I'll show you how to do that. And for the login route, I'll simply point it to the component of login component, like that, and make sure you write this import statement on top in case your ID doesn't do that automatically. Okay, so in order to do a lazy loading route here, lazy loaded route, what you do, you need to create an additional module inside the required component. So I'll go here in my home folder and I'll create a new module here. I'll name it home module and use the flat switch. Okay, that's done. And in my home module.ts file, under declarations, I'll declare my home component here and remove it from my app module. By default, everything will be listed in the app module, so let's remove it from there. Okay, and here I'm going to import app routing module, that is this module, and in the imports array I'll import the router module for root method and put the routes variable here, and I need to export this router module as well so that my app component knows about it. Okay, with that said, I can go here for the default path. I can use a method called load children. Okay, and the way you do that is you write a statement here, an anonymous function basically. So if you go to your Angular docs, okay, lazy loaded module Angular, so this is the way you do it. Okay, so here you need to point to the path, that is components, then your directory, and use a then keyword here, or then block here, to point to your should be home module, m.home module, like that. Okay, so this will only download the bundle from this module whenever you browse to this path. Otherwise, in case if you do not authenticate yourself, any stuff that is inside this home module will not be downloaded, and you will save some HTTP requests. All right, I see some comments in the chat. Yes, I'll try to implement some mean stack projects, but that will take some time, because you know mean stack is a huge stuff. You have to do the back end, the front end, everything. So and if I do a live stream, it can go over 4 hours, to be honest. Okay, I'll see if I can make a series of tutorials in the future. All right, so let's continue. And I'll also create a guard to safeguard this route. I don't want any unauthorized access to this home route. So I'll create I'll give it a name Facebook card. Okay, you can name it anything you want, doesn't matter. And I'll use a can activate card here. Perfect. So once that is done, you can simply put a can activate block here and point it to the Facebook card. That's it. So right now, if you check the card, it will return true. Okay, so it's not blocking anything as of now, which is fine. We are in the development mode right now. Okay, we have not gone to the authentication section. Okay, so I'll also need a folder, I remember, for the services. There we go. Next, let's work on the login form. First of all, that's our initial page. Okay, so I can go here, localhost 4300/login. This is my page here, and it's coming from my app component. Okay, because you remember this is your default component, your root component. So if you want to display your routes, you need to use the router outlet what do you call tag here. Okay, so you save the changes, and now it should give me it's compiling. It should say homeworks or something like that. Say maximum calls not exceeded. Let me refresh. Okay, something is wrong here. Maybe let me recompile. Okay, it happens sometimes. So it should show you login works. Okay, and what else? In the meantime, let's quickly go ahead and work on the markup then while it's compiling. So I'll start with a div. I'll name it login container. I'll try to use the BEM naming convention, that's block element modifier, where you use underscores and dashes like that. Okay, you can read more about it online. Let's see, it's compiled successfully. What do we have here? Let me put it here. So this one is still running, isn't it? Yeah. So something is wrong with my development server. I don't know what exactly. Okay, come on, don't die on me. Okay, let's continue here. I'll fix that later. So if you see this login page, I have divided this into a header section and a footer section, or a bottom section, you can say. So everything is here, you see, is in my header. So this is a left header, and this is my right header. All right, I can't even close it. Great. Localhost 4300. Well, this is not expected. Let me try a different browser then. The server is running on port 4300. And I can try 4300. you see router outlet. I don't know what's happening here today. npm start. So I've stopped this demo page. I can always go to the Firebase link that I have here. It's running on 4200 now. Okay. Let me close this and reopen. Something is not right. Hang on with me. Sorry for the inconvenience. Close this. Go here. Well, yeah, the routing module is already imported using that app routing module. Okay, so it's I already exported it. Shoo, come on. So please bear with me for a few more minutes. Hope this time it will run. If not, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll try some other IDE. Well, that should not happen actually. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay, it's listening now. Go back to the browser. So I have the router outlet here. I have it imported here, right? For root, yes, everything looks good. Come on, test. And it works. So something is wrong. Let me just remove this lazy loaded thing from here. Router outlet. Okay, it loaded something, and don't have a component here. That's why component, home component, save, go back. There we go. Phew, finally. So let me open this in Chrome. Man. Okay, perfect. So we are back in business. Cool. So I want to go to the login route here, and I don't have anything, do I? App.login. Okay, it's empty. So I see the container here, which is good. Let's jump there and finish the code. So header, I'll use the header tag here, and I'll give it a class of login underscore header. Inside this I'll have two divs, one with left, and other one, let's say login underscore header underscore left, and one will be right. Okay, so in the left section you see we have this image and this text. Okay, so I've already copied this image file here in my assets directory. Okay, I've copied all the images that I will be using throughout the course. So I think this is the logo. Yeah, that's the logo. So in the left section I'll use image tag with the source set to assets /fb logo1, alt will be logo, and h2 I'm gonna copy this text from here, paste it there. Okay, now that's it. In the right header I'll have a matte card. It's a material card, as you can see here. So this looks ugly as of now because we have no styling implemented, but that's okay. So let's quickly create the card here, and today I will copy paste the styling from my notes because it's pretty simple. I'll be using flexbox to align the items. Okay, it's pretty basic thing. And right card, so in the card I'll create the card content, and this should be imported. Perfect. And by default it will import the module in the app module here. As you can see, I don't want it there. I want it to be imported in my shared module. Okay, so I'll create a const here that says modules, type any array, and I'll put the module name here, module names here. In the imports I'll use the spread operator, and in the exports I'll also use the spread operator like this. So it will save me some time to write, and when copy paste the same thing here and here. So this is a neat trick you can use. Okay, now I go back to the app module and you import the material module like this. Okay, save the changes and should be good now. It's compiling. So let's continue here. So in the matte card content I'll have a form. This is your regular HTML form without any action tags, and I'll assign a template reference here because I will be using the template driven approach of Angular forms. And I'll also get a class of login form to style the elements in my SCSS file. And in the form I'll have two inputs. One is of name, email in small letters. I'll use the ng model directive and Angular forms, not the reactive one, the template one. Okay, and I have a placeholder text. I'll say email address or phone number, although phone numbers are not allowed in this application because Firebase doesn't support that, but this is what Facebook has on their page. Next is my password. So name is password. So these name attributes are very important because these are used to fetch the data and send it to your submit method. Okay, type is password and the placeholder should be password. Also I'll have a submit button here. Type should be submit, but okay, yeah, so I'll give it a class as well. login button, and I'll set the disabled property to only to be disabled if the form is invalid or if the form is in pending state, right? And that's it for the button, I guess. So okay, it says I have errors. What do we have here? I need to recompile, I guess. While that's happening, let it do its job, and we'll continue with the form. So, well, I'll use the ng submit method here, and I'll create a login method that will take this form as a parameter. Okay, so I can use my ID's functionality to create the method in my TypeScript file, and I'll also import the ng form from Angular forms on top. Okay, and set this to white to remove this quickly. Once that is done, let's continue. After the form, I need anchor tag that will go nowhere. Hash here. It will say forgotten account, the question mark, and a button for create new account. So let's give it a class. Let's say create account button, and we'll listen to the click method here, a click event. I will create a new function, open register. You can name it anything you want. All right, put white here. So we will work on these functions later on. Right now it's more important for us to work on the markup. Cool. So I see people have joined. Thanks for joining the session, and please do not forget to hit the like button. All right, and go back to the mat card. So it's done. Just below the mat card, we want this text. Copy it using a p tag here. You can use maybe a span tag if you want. So it's a paragraph tag, and I'll give it a class of tagline. Okay, so my header is pretty much finished. If I save the changes, go back to my actual page, this is how it looks at the moment. Okay, and I'll style it later on once I finish the bottom section. That's the footer section. And for the footer, what I did, I simply captured an image of the actual Facebook page, and I'm using the image here. It's not handwritten, it's an image. So we'll use the same trick here. Okay, so for the footer, image source, I have kept it in my assets folder, footer. Save it, go back, there you have it. Now let's quickly jump to the style sheet here. I don't want any compilation. Okay, let's close the app module. So let me quickly go to the global style sheet, that is styles.css here. Okay, and I'll define some variables here that I can use in my code. So these are all SAS files. I can use the import statement here, so it will import everything from this style sheet. Okay, all the variables from here. Cool. So once you do that, okay, styles, I want you put one setting here, the box sizing set to border box. How can I forget that? So once that is done, go back to your login component.scss or css, whatever you have. You first target the login container, set the background color to the value of f0, f to f5, height of 100 view height, and width of 100 view width. Position should be relative, and it will have a display of flex. So I will have the header and footer lined together right now. If I go back, see, they are positioned next to each other, but I will change the direction, oops, to column, so that they will stack onto each other like this. Let me see if I can put it here side by side. Although it's not responsive, I'm not working on a responsive model as of now, but it should be enough. You can definitely create custom media queries. Login header. Next is our login header. So I'll set the height to 70 view height, that is 70%. Width will be 100%. Display is flex, of course. Save it. This is how it looks now. Next, I'll use a gap of 20 pixels. It's a new property that you can use to give a bit of spacing between the flex items. So save the changes, and if I go here, you'll see there is a bit of spacing between the two elements. Okay. Next, I'll align the items to center and justify the content to center as well. So this image is pretty huge right now. So now I want to go inside my header, and that's the left header. I'm using this ampersand symbol that actually targets your parent name. So it's basically, I'm writing something like this. So login header, then login header underscore left, like this. Okay. Now inside my left element, I'll set a width of 580 pixels. Padding right should be around 32 pixels. Again, I'll make this a flex container so that I can do some alignment and use the justify properties. Okay. And again, the direction will be column so that they stack from top to bottom. I'll use align items property, set to flex start, save the changes. Now you see, this is how it looks. Okay. Next, I'll target, let me just minimize this. I'll target the image. Okay, quickly check the chat. Okay, cool. We have quite a few viewers join today. Thank you guys, really appreciate it, and please do not forget to hit the like button, smash it as many times as you want, and please share this video with your friends. Ask them to join this live stream if they can. All right, let's continue. So the image, I'll give it a height of 56 pixels. Margin right, I'll give 32 pixels. Margin bottom, 20 pixels. Save it. There we go. Now it looks much better, doesn't it? All right, for the heading, h2 element, we'll set a font size of 28 pixels. Font weight normal. Line height, let's put 32 pixels, and a width of 500 pixels. So this is how it looks. This is the final product. Okay, so this is where my left ends here. Cool. And next I have my right section. So inside the right, I have a card. If you remember, right, I have a card here that has this class assigned to it. So I'll target the card, or the class rather, underscore card. So I'll give it a height of 380 pixels and a width of 400 pixels. Save it. This is how it looks. I can expand it even more if you want. All right. Set a padding of 10 pixels all around. Give it a border radius of 10 pixels to have some rounded corners and a margin bottom of 30 pixels. So we have some spacing here, and we have these rounded corners with a nice drop shadow automatically. This is automatically there when you use a matte card. Okay. Next, inside this card we have a content. Let's see, if we have given a class. No, we haven't. So let's give it a class. So login header, right card content. Yep. Go back. So for the content, I want a padding of 5 pixels all around, display of flex, and flex direction of column to stack everything from vertically. Okay. Next we have the login form. So I'm nesting everything as per the structure here. Okay, but if you don't like nesting things, you can definitely call them out of these nested blocks. It'll still work. Okay, this is simply just how I like doing it, but you may not like it. I mean, some people don't like the nesting functionality of SAS, but that's all right. It's their personal preference. So if I write df, so it's display flex shorthand, flex direction column. I'll give it a gap. I'll give a gap of around 10 pixels. Okay, so they're spaced properly. Next, I'll target the inputs, all the inputs. Okay, all of them. So for the padding, I'll say 20 pixels. Outline should be none. Border should be 1 pixel solid light gray, and a border radius of 5 pixels. Save it. Let's see. There we go. Let's check the chat window. Okay, nothing much. Now I'm going to target the placeholder. This is this password text. Okay, and the way you do it is using the sudo selector placeholder. So font size 16 pixels and a font weight of normal. This is how it looks. Let me remove the password from here. Delete. Okay, cool. Next, after the inputs here, I'll target the login button. That is this big fat button, and I think I forgot to put the text here. It should be sign in. Cool. So the background color, I want to set it to the primary button color variable that I defined in my global style sheet. This is this blue color, as you can see. So if I save the changes, this is how it will look. Oops. Next I want to give it a padding of 15 pixels with the outline set to none, border set to none, and a border radius set to 7 pixels, the color of white for the text, and a font size of 18 pixels. 18 pixels, font weight bold, margin bottom of 20 pixels, and a cursor set to pointer. That looks nice, doesn't it? Next you go outside the login form. Okay, and so this is where login form ends, and I'm targeting that anchor tag. So text decoration is set to none, color set to that primary text, or button color rather. This is the same color. Text align center. Border bottom I'll give 1 pixel solid light gray. So save the changes. Do you see any border? We don't, because we haven't given any padding or margins. So margin bottom should be 20 pixels, padding bottom should be 20 pixels, and cursor pointer. Save it. There you have a nice border here. There's a cursor. Only thing left is your sign up button and this text. Okay, so this button has a class of create account. If you remember, I'll use background color success dollar success button color. Display, I'll make it inline block so that I can give it some width and paddings, all those things. Align self, since this is also part of the flex container, and this is a flex item basically, as my entire card is a flexbox container. So I can use align self property to center it. As you can see, I'll use outline none, border none, border none. Come on. Border radius 7 pixels, padding 15 pixels and 30 pixels. Color should be white. Font size, I want it to be 18 pixels. Font weight bold, and the cursor again set to pointer. Save the changes. There you have a nice button, which is the same as this final product. Okay, split up, I guess. But that's all right. So here in the final version it says login, so let's rename it to login here. Okay, next we need to style this tagline. So I'll go outside the card. My content is my card ends here. Outside the card I'll go to my tagline and text align it center with a letter spacing of 0.7 pixels. Okay, so I forgot to put the create a page in under strong tags, so it will appear bold. Okay, so create a strong tag here and wrap this in the within the strong tags. We'll have this bold what do you call bold display here. Okay, so for the footer, it's an image as we know, so we go outside the header here. So we target login footer. Login footer, I didn't give it a class, so let's give a class of login underscore footer and a height of 30 view height. Align self should be flex end, width of 100%, PG color should be white, cool, and display flex. Align items, I'll use center, and justify content, I'll use center again. And for the image that is inside the footer, I don't need to do anything. Okay, I don't have any specific settings for the image tag, so that takes care of the footer section. This is how my final page looks like. If you want, you can give some top margin here. So let's give, let's say this is my login button, create account button. I can use margin top 10 pixels. There we go. Almost similar, doesn't make any difference as such. Next major component is my home, but before I do that, let's quickly finish the registration component, and I'll open it using a keyboard shortcut. Okay, register component. Okay, and for the time being, I can go to my app module here, so I can see something happening there. I'll use the register component here. Okay, so that I can style it here and create it. Okay, so for the markup, I'll use a section here, the class of register, and this will have a header and a body. Okay, pretty much it's a pretty simple markup. So with the div of class header, not mat header, just header. Here I'll have a h3 that says sign up, and below that I'll have a p tag that says it's quick and easy, and I'll have a body here, not mat body, come on. And again, I can borrow some code from my login component, a form here. Let's write it. It won't take much time. So inside the form, I'll use div, let's say user name. This will have two inputs. Placeholder will be first name, the name attribute I'll use fname and ng model directive. Second one is last name, short form is lname, I'll use here. Last name as the placeholder, both are text fields. Perfect. Next is a div for the email and password. Text placeholder email, name will be email, ng model. Next is my image URL, name is avatar, I named it avatar, and the last one is my password, so the type should be password here, and the placeholder should say password. And I'll have a disclaimer here that says by clicking sign up you agree to our terms and conditions. Word wrap. How do you word wrap here? I don't know. Let's leave it as it is. And I'll also have a button. That's my sign up button. Sign up. This will have a type of, you guessed it right, submit, class of submit button. And I'll use a special directive here from the Angular material that says mat dialog close, so that I can get the form value from here to the modal that I will be using. Okay, so I need to import this. Basically I need to go to my material module and do some imports. So I'm going to import all the stuff that I will be using. Shift, that's Alt Shift Enter. Okay, so this dialog module will take care of this thing here. Okay, cool. So while it's compiling, if you go here, this is how it looks. I'll quickly paste the style code here in its component register. So these are the stylings. So you will find this in my GitHub repo. I'll share the link in the description of this video. Okay, so if I save the changes, it's still compiling, is it? So give it some time. Export class. It has some errors. Okay, now it's gone. Come on, I have to restart it. All right. So while it's compiling, it'll take a few seconds to finish the compilation. In the meantime, I can go to my home component here. Error occurs in the template of component registration form.value. Yeah, so the form.value is not present because I need to use the template variable here. So now if you save, that error should go away. And refresh here. Okay, actually I need to make some changes in any of the TypeScript files, or maybe here. So it's looking for some change basically. So let's do something here. Cool, now we are back. Refresh, there is our sign up component, and this is fine because this will be displayed in a modal. All right, We will do that later on. First we need to work on the home component. So for the home component, I'll divide the entire page in two sections. One is the header section and the other one is the body. Okay, and inside the header and body I'll have multiple subsections. Okay, so I'll start with the div of class home container, and then inside this I'll have another div that will be home underscore header. Next, below the header I'll have home underscore body. So these are the two elements. So I can go to my default route and I see two divs here. Okay, perfect. So inside my header I'll have another div to hold my home header left section, one middle and one right. So this is my middle and this is my right. So let's go to the left section first. Here I'll use the image with a source of assets, and so this is the logo I captured using the snipping tool. So I captured the logo and saved it in my assets directory, and I'll give it a special mat card avatar directive. Okay, so in order to use this directive outside a mat card, what you need to do, you need to go to the root component and use a mat card here with the style of display none. Okay, so basically I'm not displaying any cards here, but that will be there in the DOM, but it will not be displayed. Simple. It's a fancy trick, fancy hack basically, to use the avatar directive outside a mat card. Next, below the card I need this input, that will be my search bar, and I'll use mat icon. Also name will be search outline. This is this magnifying class icon. Okay, so if I go here, oops, material design, Angular, where was it? Yeah, there it is. So search outline, it's not there. So search, should be search, not search outline, and it still doesn't work. I wonder if I added the icon module there. Okay, it's added. Says that icon is not a known element. So it's compilation error. Oops, not served. It should be served. So while it's compiling, I'll create a form element here, although I'll not do anything. I just put it there. It'll sit there, do nothing. I'm not doing any searches using this search box. Okay, so refresh. Oh, So you see we have a module here for home itself, right? We have to do import module. All right, that's imported. Strange. So if I, instead of doing this, I say mat icon module, save the changes. Does it work? Come on. It's behaving really strange today. Somehow. So let me put the other modules as well. Mat batch module and forms module, mat menu module, and mat button module. Well, I guess I will not be using this home module for the lazy loading. Okay, there we go. Search bar is there. Now if I go here and say I want to use mat icon, come on, and name is search, save, it's not giving me any icons. That is really strange, man. All right, let's do it simple way. Go here, put everything here. So basically I'm not going to use the home module for anything, and can remove all of this stuff, save the changes, refresh. Mat icon module is there. This should be search. Don't get any errors. Okay, so it works now. All right, let's get rid of this home module. I'm not going to use this. Remove it. Go, man. So this is done. Left section, minimize, go to the middle one, and for the middle we have a few divs. One will have active class, active. Okay, so I'll remove the class as if now. I'll create the structure first. So I'll use the mat icon home. I'll copy this 1 2 3 4 5 6, maybe 5. So last one, I'll use the flag here I'll use the group icon, here I'll use the store icon, and for the second one it will be on demand underscore video. So I save the changes. These are the icons, okay, and you can find the exact icon from this list. All right, that's my middle section done. And the first icon, I'll give it a class of active. Now let's concentrate on the right section. The right, I'll have a div. Inside this I'll have an image. Source is unknown as of now. Alt is unknown. This will be my actual avatar basically. Now I'll use the avatar here, get a nice rounded icon here, and I'll also use a span, the class of name. This will display my name here, my name. There we go. Below this div I'll have material icons the way I have it in the middle section. Similar way, mat icon. First one is add. For the second div I'll use another mat icon, the name of forum, but here I'll give it some additional attributes like mat badge. You can set some attributes, badge color set to primary, mat badge overlap. So you can find about these attributes from the official documentation, right? Mat badge position above after. Save the changes. See anything? See nothing. Says what? It says it's not recognized. Attribute mat badge is not allowed here. Save. Let's see. So the compiler is not able to compile these things in real time. The Webpack is not able to do that. Well, yeah, you can definitely use MySQL instead of Firebase, but the reason I'm using Firebase is because first of all, it will save time. Okay, we don't have to work on the backend structure there. It's already there for us, and it's real time. So whatever you do in the backend, it updates real time in the front end. Okay, so if you post a chat message, that will be appearing instantly without any refreshes. All right, cool. So I hope that answers your question. Let's move on. So everything is compiled now because I was missing this badge module here. So now it's compiled, and if you go here, you see this nice badge icon. Okay, let's work on the next div here. That will be my another mat icon with the name of notifications. it'll be the bell icon, and I'll set the same attributes. Mat badge set to, let's say, 3. Mat badge, and see now I get the IntelliSense as well. So I was missing that module. All right, so overlap set to false, and what else? Mat badge position is go after. Save it. There we go. Perfect. So next, you go down here, and I use mat icon. That will trigger a menu. Okay. So I'll name it menu here, and this is expand more. Right. And again, I'm missing the module, I guess, the menu module. Do I have it here? No. So mat menu module, import it, save, go back. So it might fail again, so I'll restart the compiler. And before I do that, let me finish the code. So mat menu. So inside the menu, I'll have a button, and we'll have a mat icon, name exit to app, and let's say log out. The button will have an attribute mat menu item. Okay, let me quickly save the changes. That still fail, so terminate it, go back to npm start, and that should fix it. Okay, and this mat menu should have a template variable and equal to mat menu. Perfect. So this is the icon. Okay, this is this expand more icon. Okay, now if you go and click it, you'll see this drop down menu appearing. Perfect. So that concludes your header section. Header ends here. Now we need to work on the body. So the body, we have 3 sections: the sidebar left, the middle one, and the right section. So for the right, I used again an image to save some time. So let's quickly do that. I'll copy the code here. I'm going to copy some code this time. It's pretty much the same thing. As you can see, it's a div with the sidebar left class in it. Inside that, I am using the avatar here, so I can simply ignore these stuff as of now, because this will come when we authenticate and show the data from the backend. Okay, so this is all coming from mat icons. Okay, save the changes, and this is how it looks right now. So this is my avatar, just not, which doesn't have any image as of now, and this is my right sidebar. Let me show that here. Test at test.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the right sidebar you see here. It's actually a text, sorry, an image. Okay, and if you notice that my right sidebar and left sidebar are fixed, only my middle content scrolls up and down. Okay, this is exactly how Facebook behaves. So we'll implement that as well, and for that reason I have kept all of this inside a parent div element here. Okay, similarly I'll put the content for the middle section. It's pretty simple. Okay, again I'm not gonna loop through the variable here as of now. Remove it, save the changes. This is the middle section. Okay, you have a input field, you have an image here, and all these mat icons. Okay, now we need to style these to get the final result to appear as this. Okay, and also I have these cards here. Okay, if we go, that's there in the middle section. So it's here. So content middle top, this is the card section that you see here. And since I am not using any loops as of now, so you don't see any card here in my final output here. So this is coming from the images, right? So basically in my home.ts file, I'll create an array, okay, to store some dummy images that dummy image URLs. Okay, these are the URLs, and based on these values it will loop through here. So I'll put the ng for directive here again, let I of images. Now if I save, you'll see 6 cards here. Okay, these are the cards. So it's pretty ugly right now, I understand, because of the CSS not in place, and we'll work on the CSS next. So let's start with it. We'll go to my, what happened? Let pf post 168. Yeah, so I don't have it here right now. Integrates method import the ng form directive. Next, save. Everything looks good. It's happy now. Still not happy. Oh, 168. Where's 168? Okay, man. Delete it. I'm simply gonna comment this out. Okay, I should be happy. Cool. Because this is the data that is coming from your backend. We don't have it yet. Next, I need to jump to the CSS file. First, I'll import the styles from my global style sheet. And I'll target the home container here. Display flex, display session column. So it's for the entire thing. So header is on top, then we have the body stacked on top of it. Position should be relative, and background color should be my body color. This is this gray color. Okay, this is light blue or gray, whatever you want to call it. That's the color. See here. All right, next, header section. I'm targeting the home header class. So first of all, I'll put a z index because we want to create a fixed header, and I'll give it a large value of 1000. You can give any value you want, just make sure it's large enough. So display flex, not inline flex, align items center, justify content, space between. It will automatically position everything from left to right. Background color, I'll use the variable header color. Padding of 5 pixels all across. Position, I'll use fixed. Okay, this is the main attribute here, or CSS property here. Set the width to 100% and set the top value to 0. So it will start from the very top here, this top left corner, and this is the flex that I have set. Okay, now inside this left header, so target the left block and display flex. Margin from left should be around 10 pixels. Align items and remember we are still inside the header. Okay, we are working inside the header parent container only. So I'll give a gap of 10 pixels between the logo and the search input, and this will itself have a flex property of 0.5 because this itself it is a flex item. If you remember, we have set the container as flex, so this will behave as a flex item. Also I have made it as a flex container. Okay, so you can nest the flex box containers and items as per your need. Okay, so inside the left I have a div class of input. See, do we have that? So header left, a class of input here. Perfect. So I'll position it relative and a width of fit content, and the input that I have, I'll set the outline to none, border to 1 pixel, solid light gray, background color to F0, F2, F5, padding 10 pixels top and bottom, 40 pixels left right, and border radius 20 pixels. Save the changes. Let's go back here. This is how it looks. Okay, so I'll target the placeholder and the padding left property, I'll set it to 20 pixels, font size of 15 pixels. Next, let's target the search icon. I didn't give any class, did I? Where is it? Here it is. Class search icon. Position will be absolute. From top 6 pixels. Font size I'll use extra large. And from the left I want it to be placed at 10 pixels and color of 828890, gray color. So it positions itself nicely. So this is my left section, left ends here. Now let's target the middle one. So to save some time, let me copy paste some code. Just a sec. So if I save the changes, go back, this is how it looks. Okay, so you see I've given it a padding, a height, a display, flex property, and then we have divs inside the middle container which are holding these icons. So I've made the active one blue with this bottom border, and for the bottom border I used a pseudo element known as the before. So there are two pseudo elements known as before and after. You can use them to your need. Okay, and I've set a position of absolute, give it a border of 4 pixels. All right, so it will position itself from the bottom. And with that done, so this is middle, and next we have the right section. Okay, middle ends here. Next, yeah, right. For the right, I'll use flex of 0.5 again. Save it. So now it's centered, as you can see, and let's put a height of 100%. Display flex, line items, center vertically, justify content should be flex end. They will jump to the end, as you can see here. We'll give a padding of 15 pixels, gap of 10 pixels. They're placed evenly. Next, I'll use a wildcard selector here to target everything, and a margin right of 10 pixels, cursor set to 5. Now if you hover, it will give you a cursor, a pointer thing. Next we have span in the class of name with a font size of 16 pixels. Then the divs, I want to display them as flex, set them as flex containers, align their internal items as center. Then the span tag, if there is any, so it'll have a margin left property set to 5 pixel. There we go. Next, I'll use the not pseudo operator and I'll target the first of type. Okay, so this says select any div which is not first of type, so, and any element which is not a type of div, if I may say that. No, so basically this says select all the divs which is not the first of its kind. So if you have 4 divs, it will leave the first one and select the rest 3 divs. All right, so much confusion here. So background color should be E4, E6, EB. Save. There we go. So this is my header section, and we are done with the header. As you can see, everything lines up properly, and if you get this nice hover effect, this is my border bottom. Okay, this is my menu. Okay, next we need to work on the body section, home body. So first of all, I'll give margin top of 100 pixels because my header is fixed, so I need to give some margin from top so that I can see the content. Okay, background color I want to be body color. Let me check the chat window quickly. Hey Jaden, thanks for joining. It's my pleasure. So please hit the like button and share this video with your friends, right? And I appreciate your time and thanks for joining. So let's set the width of 100%, height of 100 view height. Again, display set to flex, justify content space between to evenly space out the things from left to right. And padding top, I want to give 10 pixels and align items will be flex start. If I do this, let's see how it looks. Nothing much. Body sidebar. So the sidebar, I'm going to target sidebar left. Position is relative, and I have a div with the name of inside. Okay, I'll set its position to fixed. As soon as I do that, something's changed here. You can see. Let's say padding 15 pixels, margin top 5 pixels, and width of 350 pixels. I'll make this as the inside div itself as a flex container. Flex direction set to column and a gap of 20 pixels. So where is it? Everything is stacked from top to bottom, as you can see. This is my right bar. Okay. Next we have this user avatar. So I'm gonna collapse the header section. So we have this div class user avatar. Okay, that's inside the inside container. User avatar. I could not come up with a better name, so you can give any name you want for the class. Align items, center, gap of 15 pixels, and this has a span of name with a font size of 16 pixels. Come on. Next, I'll target all the divs. Then a gap of 20 pixels, font size of 16 pixels, align items, center, matte icons, color should be 1.8. Yeah, it's the blue one. Font size extra large, width fit content, and height fit content. Then I have this see more and the last of type settings. So you should see the changes once I manage the middle section. It's taking a lot of space. Okay, so let's do that right now. So go to outside sidebar left. So this is middle body, and for the middle body I'm gonna copy paste some settings here. Okay, so I'm targeting the middle container here, making it as a flex box container, setting the direction to column. As soon as I do that, you see the content which was missing, it appeared here. And for this nice cards, I can show you. So under the top section, I have top and center. So on the top, I have these image cards. So they each has a width of 120 pixel and a height of 200 pixels with the border radius of 20 pixels. Okay, and when you hover, they scale to 1.06. Okay, so these are the properties of the span tags. This is that this, what do you call this name that you see here, my name here. This is the span tag. If I could go back to the markup quickly to show you. So this is the span tag that says card name. So all those span tags here will have the same settings basically. Next we have the image that has a class of background. So this is the image that has class of PG background. So these are the properties, max width, and one setting. So if I remove the object fit, so this will be like this, stretched and not filling the container properly. So this is the CSS property that you should use, object fit cover, for the images specifically. Okay, this will give you this nice effect here. Okay, next it's set to the image is set to absolute to fill the entire container. Max width is set to 100%. Okay, and I've set a transition property to all, because whenever you hover on the image, so it'll basically give you this effect, right? Because I'm transforming the image, as you can see here, so I have to set the transition property on the image. Okay, next we have this avatar. So this avatar is positioned on top left here, using this position absolute value and a z index of 99. I've given a higher z index, so that will pop up from the other content. Okay, next we have this card. This card is in the center section, so it has a class of post message here. Okay, again it's a mat card component, as we all know, and we have seen it many times now. I've given it a border radius of 10 pixels, made it a flex box container. Okay, so it has a header section here and a footer or body, you can say. So that's a body. Okay, it's pretty simple markup here and styling here. Okay, so these are all mat icons which I got from this list, and so that's all about the markup thing. Okay, so we have pretty much done with the markup. So now we need to hook up with our backend and fetch some data. Okay, and before we do that, this is my write feed. I want to show you the write feed section quickly. It's just an image, and this is the image that I captured using the snipping tool, because it really doesn't make sense to write all this stuff here, but you can do that if you want to practice the HTML and CSS. It's good. Even if you want to do that, it's good. But I'll save some time here by using a image, and for the I'll uncomment this when I have this post already defined. Okay, so let's work on the home component here. So now you see I have a form here somewhere, this form. Okay, this submits the data. Okay, so now if I just show you console log form.value, save it. Okay, go back to my browser go to the developers console and type welcome here. So I get a message property. Okay, this is my input field's name. Okay, message. Now I need to create a service. If I don't have one, I need to create a service that will communicate with the backend, with the Firebase backend. And before I could do that, I need to get something from here, some settings. Okay, so let me create register the app. It'll give me some config information. I'll simply copy everything from here till here and go to my code. In my environment.ts file, I'll paste the entire config here and remove the equals with the colon, and I need to replace this with single quotes. And do not forget to copy same code and paste it in the prod file as well, because this is the file that gets compiled and built in the production builds. Okay, so when you run ng build prod, this is the file that is being considered. Okay, so save the changes and close them. Next, I need a post service and an authentication service. Okay, so let's create two of them. Go to the schematics. I'll create a post service and also I'll create another one, that's the auth service. Okay, let's work on the post service. So post service I'll inject few things, and before I do that, let me go to my app module. I need to import the Angular Fire module here. I'll use the initialize app method and I'll point it to the Firebase config. Okay, also I'll import the Angular Fire store module, so I know I will be using it, and Angular Fire auth module. Save it, go to the console, compiling. If it gives an error, stop the compiler, rerun it. Okay, that's how it works. Once that is done, I see us quickly here. So stop the compiler, we compile again. Okay, with that being said, I will go to my post service. I can inject now Angular Firestore using the Angular dependency injection. Angular Firestore service, Angular Fire auth service, Angular Fire auth, not the module, the auth service, and nothing else. Okay, I'll define a local variable here, that is current user of type Firebase user. I'll import the user interface from Firebase. Okay, and in my constructor, I'll go to the if auth and I'll have an auth state observable. I'll subscribe to it. This will give me a user value. It could be null or of type user, so I'll assign this to my current user. So this current user will either be null or an actual user. Okay, Now I'll define a couple of methods. First one is get all posts from the backend. This will be of type observable of any, and I'll return this.afs. I'll query my Angular file store and I'll look for the collection of posts, and I want to actually order the posts. Okay, so I'll use an anonymous function, arrow function. I'll use the order by method here, and I know my fields will have a timestamp. I'll order by the timestamp value here in descending, so the latest post will be always on top. Okay, and I'll use the snapshot changes method here. So there are two methods, one is value changes and the other one is snapshot changes. The difference is that if you want to get the ID of individual documents, you need to use the snapshot changes. Otherwise, if you only want the data, value changes is more than enough. But here I want the ID to be returned as well, so I'll pipe it with the map operator. This is the rxjs operator. Sorry, you need to import it from rxjs operators package, and this gives me an array of actions, which I'll loop through each item here, and I'll return a new object that will have ID, which I will fetch from the item.payload.doc.id property. Okay, and rest I want whatever data I have, just send it as it is using the spread operator. Right, so it's giving me as quickly here. It says okay, collection, let me put here any, now it goes away. Cool, so this will return me an observable of any. Next I have a post message method. This will be of type void, and it will take some parameters. The first one is the actual message in the form of string. Second is the owner name form of string, and any other items that you want to pass. Okay, let me minimize this, and for this method I'll simply reach out to my Firestore collection of posts and add call the add method here to add a new message. So in the title I'll display the owner name, and the user ID I want this dot current user ID dot uid, and this is a property of Firebase user, and since this is also a type of Firebase user, so it will have this property in it. I said my post will have a time attribute, so this will be set using the Firebase time server property. So I need to import Firebase. So yeah, import star as Firebase from Firebase. Cool. So firebase.firestore.field value, and there's a server timestamp method that will automatically put the current server's timestamp in the value. And for if there are any other items, so you see it's grayed out right now, that means it's unused. So I want to use the spread operator and add any other items that have been sent in the parameter list. Okay, so now I'll use a then block here. So this response block, the response in the console, and if there are any errors you can also log that in the console. Okay, that's done. So our post service is done. Let's quickly go here in our home component.ts file. I'll define an array of posts of type any array. I'll define a variable of type of user data, and this is a special type that I will define in my auth service. Okay, so let me put it here. That's my user data. I'll import it from the auth service. We'll have a first name, last name, avatar, email, and an optional ID field. Okay, with that done, I'll also store the subscriptions here. So I'll use a variable of type subscription. That's the type you need to import from rxjx package. Okay, and I also want to implement the on destroy interface. And in my on destroy, let's do that first. I'll loop through all my subs. Okay, I'll call the unsubscribe method. That's it. Type should be void, of course. In my ng on init, I'll store the subscription here. So for that, I'll go to my post service. I did not inject it here, so I need to inject that. Private post service. Check the chat window quickly. Cool. So people are still there with me, and I really appreciate that for staying this long. I know it's been over an hour and a half, I guess. So really appreciate that. So here I'll fetch all the posts, subscribe them. I'll get all posts and I'll store the posts here. So now if I go back to my template that I commented out, so I'll remove it from here. Okay, and if I save and go back to the browser, this is the application. So you don't see any errors here, which is good, and we don't see any posts here as well. That's fine. Now we also need to store the user, right? So this dot subs dot push, I'm gonna push another value here. That will be my auth service. I did not inject that, did I? Private auth service, auth service. So I'll have a method. Let me just first go to the auth service and finish it. Here I'll inject my Angular Fire Store, also my Angular Fire auth, Okay, put some gap there. I'll create few variables. So private user data of type observable of user data. Firebase dot user. Okay. I'll have current user of type user data, and I'll have a observable as well, which I can subscribe in my components for real-time update from the service. Yeah, initial value is null, and the type of this behavior subject is user data. Okay, so in my constructor, when the service is initialized, I want to check user data is if auth state. Okay, it's the Firebase user. This will return me a Firebase user observable. You can see observable. This is also same, so I can assign it. Next, I'll subscribe to it. This will give me a user. If the user is there and it's not null, so I'll go to my collection of users. Okay, this will be of type user data. So whenever you register yourself, it also creates an entry in this users collection, because you cannot directly fetch the details or store the details of your user like email, first name, last name in the default authentication section. So if you want to fetch those details, you need to create a collection and store those details there. So and I'll refer to the individual doc or document. Inside collections you have documents. Okay, so to get the exact documents, I need some ID, right? This is also type user data. For the ID, I'll use user.uid. Okay, that will have the user ID. And since I don't want any ID from the database, I'll use the value changes method to get only the data and subscribe to it. So current user. Okay, so this dot current user equals to current user, and this dot current user observable will emit a new value, that is this, and I will say if current user is not equals to undefined, right? And this else, oops, so this will be set to null. So we are done with the constructor method here. Let's go out, create our own method, current user. This will return me an observable of user data, and I'll use this dot current user observable dot as observable. So I can use the as observable method to return the information. Okay, next we have the sign up method. That's the big one, and it'll take an email of type string, password of type string, first name of type string, last name type string, and let me put these in separate lines, and avatar URL, which will have a default value. I have a link here for a default image, so the default image will look something like this. Okay, so I'll use this as a default value here in case you do not provide that avatar URL in the parameter list. Return type is void. In the body here, I'll go to my auth service and create user with email and password. So email and password I'll supply. This gives me a promise in return. So if response is there, I'll go to my Angular Firestore collection and I'll look for the users collection and I'll create a new document there. And for the new document ID, I don't want to generate a random ID, which it does by default. I want to supply the ID that I want, and that should match with the newly created user ID. So that will be stored under res.user.uid. You see my IDE helps me with the IntelliSense, right? So I'll set the properties which I pass in here. I'll set the first name, last name, email, avatar. Cool. And this will also give me a promise. So once this is done, I'll go to my collection again. User data. And collection name is users. To fetch the data, to fetch the newly created account, right, to the document, I mean, and I'll put that in the variable. I'll emit that to my subscribers. Okay. If user is there, this is the current user observable. Offer, let's set the current user, and current user observable will emit the next value to current user. All right. So this is my then block. So log error, and I want to change this everywhere when I'm using a then statement. Here I put one there, and I'll also put one. Okay, so I have two then blocks and two catch blocks. Perfect. So this is done. So basically what I'm doing, I'm creating a new user account with email and password, and once the account is created, I'm storing that information, the additional information, in a new collection document. And once that is done, I'm setting that current object, current user, with the newly created user. Okay, simple. Next, I can use create a method to return the user data. Observable of Firebase.user. So return this.user data. So user data is an observable of Firebase user. Okay, I can return that as well if some component needs that. So I have the last method as the sign in method. Not last, I guess, couple more. Email string and password string. Simple. So I'll reach out to the AF auth, and there's a method sign in with email and password. This is, all these methods are coming from my Angular Fire package. Okay, it helps a lot with communicating with the Firebase backend, right? So this dot user data will be this dot auth state again, and basically I want to do the same thing here that I did. Once this is done, I'll add it here. So go to the user store. Okay, if it's authenticated, go to the users collection, look for the user that was authenticated, store the information in the current user variable and emit it. Perfect. Next, this is still here. Copy. And paste. Save. Next method is the logout method. Again, it will return void, nothing. So this dot afauth dot sign out, and this returns a promise. So once you're signed out, what I want current user set to null, and this current user will be emitted. And do I have Angular router injected? No. So I need my Angular router package here or service to send the user to the login page. That's it. The last method is search user database. So it will take a parameter, that's a user ID that you want to search, and observable of user data. Okay, so to return this dot afs dot collection users, type is user data, and it will look for the user ID that you provided and return the value changes. That's it. So my auth service is done pretty much. And next that we want to do is go here and try to post some message. Okay, so I think I have the post service injected here. I can go. So first of all, let me destructure the message from here using the ES6 method. So this name should match the name that you have here in the form, basically. So you have the form middle top, yes, sorry, center top. This is the form and this is the name, so the variable name should be same here, otherwise the destructuring will not work. Simple. So once that is done, go to the post service and post message. Simple. So for the message, I'll use message owner name. The owner name, I'll use template strings and this dot current or this dot user. What? So to store the user, I guess. I'm not storing it, am I? Okay, so I need to go here first in the engine on init method. So I'll go to my auth service, go to my current user, subscribe to it, this dot user, just a user. Cool. So this dot user dot first name space this dot user dot last name. Okay, so that's my owner done. Next, what do I have? I have other items, right? Put a comma, other items. So in the other items, I can say I want to send avatar this dot user dot avatar. I want to say and send last name this dot user dot last name and first name this dot user dot first name. All these things I want to send to the backend, and once that is done, I want to reset the form. Okay, let's test this out first. Save the changes, go back to your browser and close this. Okay, so test post. Something went wrong. Cannot find property first name of null. That is because you have not authenticated. I don't have any user. Cool. So let's implement the guard now. So in the guard, we have a Facebook guard here, which is returning true right now. So for that, I'll inject my router. I'll inject my Angular Fire auth, and I also inject my auth service, my own auth service. Come on. So as you can see, this expects a return type of observable of Boolean or promise or Boolean. So in the return, we'll use the auth service and the user data. Do we have user data? Yep, we have here in capitals, right? User data. This is an observable, as you can see, and I can use the pipe operator here, and I'll use the map operator from rxjx to check whether the user is null or not. Okay, so give me a value, a Boolean value basically, and I need to import tab as well because I cannot return observable of Firebase user. It is not what this can activate method expects. It wants the return type should be in Boolean, right? So we need to do some conversion here to make the output as Boolean. Okay, and if I get a false value, what I want to send the user back to where he came from. That's the login page, and otherwise if that's not the case, return the value, and here also return value. That's about it. So once that is done, if you go back here, you'll go to the login URL, as you can see, but remember we changed that component. So let's go back to app routing module, and change it from register to login component. Save the changes, and we need to go to the login component auth service. We need to inject that because we have some methods defined here, the login method and all. So let's use those methods. For the login, I'll extract the email and password from form.value. Okay, and I'll store the subscriptions in an array. So apart from auth service, I need auth, Angular Fire auth, my router, and additionally, to communicate with the model, what I need is a mat dialog. I need to inject the mat dialog service here. Okay, so in my ng on init and push a subscription, that will be my auth service user data dot subscribe. If user, so if user is there, I don't want to do anything. I want to send the user to the home page. Go there. You're already signed in. Come on. And since I am storing the subscription in the component, I want to unsubscribe it from when it's destroyed. So this dot subs dot map s dot unsubscribe. Okay, and the return type is of course void. So now in the login form, I'll check first if the form is valid or not. If it's not valid, don't do anything, return from this function call. Otherwise, go to the auth service and sign in. And what do we need? We need the email and password and form.reset. Simple. And for the registration, what I will do, I'll create a dialog reference, and this will be from my mat dialog service. So this requires a component and some configuration. Okay, so for the component, I'll point it to the registration component, and for the configuration, it takes an object, and I'll give it a role of dialog, and my IDE helps me with IntelliSense. So I'll get a height of 480 pixels, a width of 480 pixels as well, and I want to look for the listen for the after close observable. So when you close the dialog, whether you submit it or not, you close it and you get a response back. Okay, a result back. So I want to extract some, I want to restructure this result variable. It will have a first name, last name, email, password, avatar. Okay, if result is not equals to undefined, then I want to go to my auth service and sign up with email and password, and I'll pass in first name, last name, because you remember it takes all these parameters. Okay, first name, last name, avatar. Let's return here. Now in my register component.ts file, what I need to do, I simply need to inject one service, that's the dialog material dialog ref service, and this will be of type register component. That's it. So let's see whether we get any data or not. So I'm gonna comment this out as of now, and I'm a console log result. Okay, so let's save this and go back to the browser. Okay, it has refreshed, I guess. So now this is your modal, and if I open the console, clear this out, if I simply close it, this becomes hang on, I need to comment this as well. Save it, go back, close it. This is undefined. Okay, my result is undefined. But if I fill anything here, and hit enter, so I get a response back. This is with the help of this dialog ref, okay, that is pointing to my register component, and it's passing that information to my dialog ref here. Okay, it's pretty handy. Now I can use this data, so I know it's coming up, it's coming there, so I can uncomment this. So if this is undefined, right, I want to return else return. Save it. Now go back here. This is my database, right? I don't have any users. So for the user, I don't have any database, I mean any collections as of now. So if we go here, I don't have any users as well. Let's register our first user now. So create account. This is John Doe test at, or maybe John at test.com. For the avatar, let me choose one. Oh, let's keep it blank. Let's see what happens, right? Password 1234556, and if I hit sign up, there we go, it's blank. And if I go to my database, so I will refresh the authentication section first. I see my user has been registered successfully. If I go to my Firestore, I should see a new collection here with the name of users, and the avatar is blank. All right, so I think instead of putting it there in my registration, function, so auth service sign up, I have a sign up method here. Okay, and cut it from here and create a variable here, maybe default avatar. Okay, and go here, avatar, or this is not default avatar. So I'll do a check first, that avatar equals to empty string. Or so we can check here. Let's do it here. If avatar is not equals to undefined, or and avatar is not equal to empty string, or if it's undefined, rather, let's do this way. If it's undefined, or it's an empty string, then we want to set this to default avatar. Okay, otherwise you're not bothered about it, right? Save these changes, and I'm quickly gonna delete the collection here so that I can register again and see if this works. And I'm gonna delete the user. Okay, now if I refresh, I should be thrown back to the sign in page. Go back, John at test.com. I'm leaving it empty, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, sign up. Something has happened, let's see. Perfect, so it's injected here. Although it's not appearing here, I guess we have not defined it in the template. So in the home template, I need to go to the header and header middle, not middle, we need the right one. So avatar here. So this should be, let me check my notes, should be, I'll bind it to user dot avatar. Save the changes. Perfect. You see this nice face here. Similarly, I'll change this to user dot first name or unknown. Not unknown, let's say default user. Save. So it should be replaced by John Doe or John. Perfect. And what else? Now we have to go to the sidebar. We have a user here, user dot first name and the source. Okay, and I'm gonna bind it user dot avatar. Name here, the name should be user dot first name space user dot last name. John Doe, John, and here we're missing the image. That's the middle content. So middle content we have here. Go down. Yep. User dot first name, and for the source we have user dot avatar. Save. Cool. Now I can post messages. Let's say hello from John. There we go. Perfect. And we also see the timestamp here. That's done by Angular here. So this conversion is done by Angular. So I can use medium date instead of short, so I can get the what do you call timestamp in a better manner. Or let's say what all the attributes we have here. So I can go to medium, or I can check the properties of this pipe here. So what it takes, medium date, long date. I want something like this. Or let's say this one, right? So I'll simply use medium. Save. Go back. There we go. Perfect. Now I can show you that this updates in real time. I can go open in a new browser. Okay, go to my localhost 4200. Since I'm not signed in, I'll say this page. Go to my sign up form. I'll say Susan Smith. Email is susan@gmail.com. For the image, let's search for an image. URL, profile pic. And I don't want to violate any licenses. Which one? I don't find any attractive pic here. Profile pic, girl. Let's say use this one. Let's see. Copy link. Where is copy link? Image location. Nope, it's too big. Profile pic, image. Come on, man. Okay, let me copy this link and paste it here. Password 123456. Hit sign up. Okay, my pic is there, a bit off. That's all right. And Susan can post something here. Hey John, welcome to this clone. And it appears here as well. This is the beauty of Firebase. It updates information in real time. Okay, and please don't mind with this picture. This is just for educational purposes. If anyone has any issues, I can remove it. Although I will remove the database, so it will not be there anymore after this video is over. So I hope you guys liked it. So we have come to the end of this tutorial series, and you can do much more here. You can create additional forms here when you click this, because in Facebook, when you click this input box, another dialog box pops up where you enter your post. You can upload images, all those things. You can do that. And here, as you can see, I have these notifications. I can sign out as well. Okay, so I'm not hooked up, I guess, with the sign now thing. So more. Okay, this log out, right? So I want to listen to the log out. If we click that, that should log me out. So go here, hit log out. Nothing happens. Okay, so it should log me out. Let's see. Yeah, it works perfect. Well, with this, I would conclude the session here. and the live stream has come to an end. I hope you guys liked it, and thanks for staying with me so long. I really appreciate it. And I've seen all those comments and the likes and so many participants. It's really encouraging. So guys, please share this video with your friends. I'll upload this video once it is saved, and I'll also update the GitHub link in the description of this video. So feel free to copy the files and fork the repo if you want to. Until then, enjoy, have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye bye guys, take care.